Hey y'all, it's Anime Gamer, and today I'm going to be reviewing episode 20 of Carole on Tuesday. And I gotta say, this episode had good and bad elements. And let me just talk about some of the good elements. Now, this is the episode where shit hits the fan. Because for one, you get Tao arrested because the politician that wanted to use Tao in the previous episode pretty much... It implies he found dirt on Tao, and then Tao gets arrested for doing like these illegal clinical trials years ago. So that happens, and then additionally, you start to see Tuesday. You see Tuesday's brother. He's gonna work with that blonde reporter dude to try to find information on Tuesday's mother, because Tuesday's mother's the politician that she's working with might have manipulated this bombing of this facility a few episodes ago. So there's that element going in right there. And additionally, you get Amir, Carole's friend, arrested, and you see Angela's mother suffer a heart attack all in the span of a singular episode. And you get the AI completed only for Angela to like break it. So you get multiple bits of plot progression in this episode, while at the same time it even had enough time for Carole and Tuesday to practice making music so they can prepare for making a song for the Grammys. So when it came to plot progression, this episode did not dick around a single bit. So I do appreciate that specific element about this episode. Then, aside from the great amounts of plot progression we made, let me mention the good portions of the episode. Now, I liked all the bits where Carole and Tuesday are making a song, like you see them write down songs and eating fast food while making music. It was really a beautiful sequence. And from the story standpoint, when Amir made his song talking about like how bad it is on Earth and how they're relatively ignored and neglected, I enjoyed that song too, actually. Kind of like with the message of the government should be thinking about their people for the most part. Like, there's multiple things that were really good in this episode. With that say, the only downside in this episode being the specific situation of the political focus. And let me explain why. Now, political focus in a series itself, it isn't really bad. The reason why it's not so good here is because they mention politics so many freaking times. But the thing is, they half-ass this shit. And let me explain what I mean by they half-ass this shit. They keep on explaining how bad Earth is and all that. And while we do get small glimpses, it isn't enough to get a feel of how bad it is. And that's at least an issue for me, because it feels like this story is just telling you how bad it is, without actually showing you the visuals, showing you the struggle of people. So whenever they talk about politics in this series, it just falls flat on me, because the writers didn't do enough to make me give a shit. And then from like the Mars standpoint, they could have maybe shown arguments from the other side, showing off like maybe like the downsides of the current political system and why people would be wanting to go for the policies of Tuesday's mother. Like, I would have liked to have seen both sides. But since this series doesn't really emphasize much of that, and it's mostly only focused on Carole and Tuesday's rising musical career and Angela on occasions, all this political stuff, I ain't really caring much for it. Thankfully, though, it was only a small portion of the episode. But stuff like that keeps it from this being like a 9 or 10 out of 10 episode for me. But on saying that, I do like how at the very least, you do get some character progression. Because for one, you see Carole and Tuesday develop his characters more when you see him train and determined to beat Angela in the Grammys. So I do like that competitive fire. Then, on top of that, you get to see some Angela character development. Because now she's starting to call out her own mom, saying that all this stuff about following the dreams This is Angela's mother dream, not Angela's own dream. So I do like to see that scene where Angela's lashing out on her mother, because this is a necessary arc for Angela, because she should be pursuing what she actually really truly wants. You shouldn't be chained down what other people want out of her. So I do like that, and I can't wait to see how that's going to set her up for some character development. And then the sequences where Angela's mother suffering from a heart condition, then she faints. That shit was off the charts, and I cannot wait to see how that's gonna I can't wait to see how that's gonna affect Angela's character, because now she's gonna have to go through some extreme adversity. So in all, anything involving Angela and Angela's mother were great. Anything involving Carole and Tuesday were great too. And I even liked the sequence where Carole interacts with Amir for a bit. That was pretty nice. And when Amir mentioned that people change after a few years, and and friendships between kids are like sneakers. I also like that too, how it has the message of, at times when you see your really good friend from the past, it doesn't mean you're going to hit off the right. No. Hell, that even applies to family members. You might not see a family member for multiple years, and then after you see a family member you were close with, after years of not seeing them, you wouldn't really hit it off so well. So I kind of like that. Had that type of vibe. And that's what really made the interaction between Amir and Carole interesting. And additionally, I actually did like to see the character development from Tuesday's brother, how he's actually going to, at the very least, try to go with the reporter to investigate his own mother, because the mother might be onto some shady stuff there too. And I like that for a few reasons. One, it shows you the high moral character of Tuesday's brother, because he's going to be going for what's actually right instead of going for anything selfish, because there might be some people in the situation that might still support their own parent despite what the parent might actually do. So I like that too. So that's why I felt, from a character standpoint, this episode was pretty darn great. And additionally, seeing Angela pissed about not wanting to use the AI felt in line with the character too, because Angela's the type that wants to do things with her own abilities. So stuff like that really made this episode pretty epic. And for the other stuff, animation and art were great. Music was great, and Amir's song was actually great too. And I liked the message it had of how the government's not taking care of them. And I'm assuming he means the Earth and Mars governments. And during this song, and I kind of like that bit about this episode. And taking all these factors in consideration, I'm gonna rate this episode an 8.5 out of 10, because for one, despite me not liking some of the political stuff in this episode had so much good that I cannot rate it anything less than an 8 out of 10. And I thought I did enough to get at least an 8.5 out of 10. So anyways, y'all, these are my thoughts on the Carole and Tuesday episode. Be sure to comment on your thoughts on the episode in the comment section below. Rate the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later if you come back for more. Alright, thank y'all so much for watching, everyone. Have a great and safe day. Bye-bye.